What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Fast. Today, let's get started with Khalil Rountree reflects on defeat to Alex Pereira ahead of UFC return. As we know, Khalil Rountree is set to return to action next month to battle Jamahal Hill. While it's not necessarily a #1 contender fight, a big win for either man could vault them right back into contention at 205 pounds. Hill has already held the gold in the past, whereas Khalil fought valiantly in his own title shot when he went toe-to-toe with the great Alex Pereira at UFC 307. He wound up getting stopped in the 4th round, but along the way, Rountree showed the kind of heart and determination that gave him a whole new set of fans. I think one of the most important things after the Alex fight for me was to continue to progress. So, after even talking to my wife and breaking down the video, thinking what could I have done better? Even though I put in a really good camp and I did my best in that camp, but I always try to think there's always room for improvement, no matter what. And so, a few of the things I felt like I could have improved in my strength. I think I could have had an extra ear in my corner to let me know moments when my opponent was hurt that I could have capitalized on, and I think just a little bit more support. So, right after the fight, that's immediately what I went after. Another thing that I wanted to improve on was my grappling. As I climb the ranks and get closer to becoming the champion, knowing that there's going to be guys coming after me to get the belt, I want to be a well-rounded fighter, and I want to be the best version of myself that I can be in all areas. Belal Muhammad vows to come back stronger after Jack Della Maddalena loss while refusing to put blame on anybody. In his first reaction to the defeat against Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 315, Belal Muhammad accepted full responsibility and promised to make a strong comeback. Maddalena defeated Muhammad by unanimous decision, ending his reign as the undisputed UFC welterweight champion. I'm not a guy that's gonna sit there and put blame on anybody. People love to see you fail, and they waited 6 years for me to lose, and they waited 11 fights to see me lose. But they're not gonna see me with my head down. They're not gonna see me quit. They're not gonna see me break. What I'm gonna do is take that loss, grow from it, get better from it, and just continue to be a different animal and keep continuing to do what they think I can't do. I'm gonna be the guy that gets the belt again. I'm gonna be the guy that's one fight away from getting the belt. Cory Sandhagen gives his thoughts on Sean O'Malley and a possible future fight. UFC star Cory Sandhagen has given his thoughts on Sean O'Malley's career, as well as a possible fight between them in the future. As we know, Sean O'Malley is easily one of the biggest stars in mixed martial arts. That's certainly the case for the UFC's bantamweight division, where he is a former champion. While O'Malley is popular with the fans, he can sometimes be divisive in the eyes of his fellow fighters. It really depends on what you enjoy when consuming MMA, but either way, Sean has captured the imagination of many. In a recent interview, divisional rival Cory Sandhagen gave his view on O'Malley. When you think about O'Malley, he's had a good run at stuff, but I think if you fight tough guys for long enough, there's going to be nights where you just don't win. You know what I mean? Because all of these guys are really good, and I've fought the best guys for a really long time. Not a lot of other people in the division really get to say that, except for maybe Yan and Merab. O'Malley's not really one of those guys that gets to say that he's fought all of the best of the division. I think that when he does that, he's going to have off nights and he's going to lose. I sometimes have off nights, and I've lost. That's just how fighting works. I think that when me and O'Malley fight, I'll get to show that I'm a lot better than him. Unless I get that opportunity, I don't really feel like arguing with the ether of the internet about who's better at what. I think I'll definitely get that opportunity to show that one of these days. Henry Cejudo highlights what separates Merab Dvalishvili from other bantamweights. Henry Cejudo recently shared his thoughts on Merab Dvalishvili's fighting style and highlighted what he believes separates him from other bantamweights. Cejudo noted that Dvalishvili has a unique ability that has resulted in many of his opponents being overwhelmed because they are unable to find an answer to it. Dvalishvili has showcased that he is a well-rounded fighter that is capable of adapting and enforcing his game plan regardless of who he is fighting. I knew Merab was really good with his chain fighting, so it's not even wrestling, it's how you chain it. That's what separates them. Chaining is really putting the punches together and boom, the level change comes. Rather than just you maybe throwing a right hand, and all of a sudden the level change comes. He's able to mix it very good with his feints. It's his cardio, it's his conditioning. Beneil Dariush warns Ilia Topuria not to overlook Charles Oliveira ahead of UFC 317 title clash. Ilia Topuria is set to face Charles Oliveira for the vacant lightweight title at UFC 317 next month after previously vacating the featherweight belt. While Topuria enters the bout as a heavy betting favorite, one of Oliveira's former opponents recently claimed that the matchup is closer than people think. Beneil Dariush appeared on Submission Radio, where he discussed the upcoming lightweight title bout. I think it's a lot closer than people think. I think Charles is really tough. I think he's got a good chin, he's got good jiu-jitsu, he's got great striking, and what's going to be difficult for Ilia is Charles's striking is, I think, really dangerous against good boxers. The way he throws his knees, the way he clinches. And those are things you can do to slow down Ilia. A good boxer will dip low to fake or feint to get in on the inside, and that's times where Charles will just raise his knee and mess with your timing or throw a kick, things like that. So, I think the fight's a lot closer. I understand why people are favoring Ilia. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, he's going to walk through Charles, like everybody thinks. Paddy Pimblett issues bold preview of potential Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall heavyweight clash. Paddy Pimblett recently shared his thoughts on the potential UFC heavyweight title unification bout between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall. In a recent interview session hosted by the UFC in Liverpool, Pimblett discussed the matchup. Despite having a good relationship with fellow Brit Aspinall, Pimblett was hesitant to pick against Jones. "I can't pick. I love Aspinall, lad. He's my mate and that, but I can just never pick against Jon Jones because we've never seen him get beat. I think now if anyone's going to beat him, it is Aspinall. Aspinall could just knock him out and come out with his hands and knock him clean out." Alexander Volkov slams Jon Jones for holding up heavyweight division. UFC heavyweight contender Alexander Volkov is frustrated with Jon Jones for holding up the division. As a fighter, of course, I have a negative opinion about the delay of the Jones-Aspinall fight because my chances to fight for the championship title are getting smaller and time is running out. In other weight classes, there is a real conveyor belt of fights. That is why I am unhappy. So I would have had a chance to test myself in a title fight a long time ago if it were not for Jon Jones. If Jon Jones ends up retiring, Alexander Volkov could get the title shot against Tom Aspinall. However, Bones continues to hold the belt, which Volkov believes is due to the UFC allowing him to do so and not stripping him. If I were in Jones's place with his position, the goal of earning the maximum amount of money, and the desire to fight when it is convenient for him, then of course I would continue to do this. It is obvious that he does, first and foremost, what is beneficial for him. And Jon has the right to do this. The question here is not so much about Jon Jones, but about the fact that the UFC allows him to behave this way and shows excessive loyalty to him. As a result, everyone is waiting. When Joe Rogan outlined key reasons why Conor McGregor has not been the same guy in MMA, Conor McGregor's star power transcended the sport of MMA and made him a global celebrity and one of the wealthiest athletes in the world. UFC commentator Joe Rogan, who has witnessed the Irishman's rise and fall in the competitive sphere of MMA, shared his thoughts on what McGregor could not sustain his dominance in the sport. Conor self-destructed in a lot of ways because of money. He took that fight with Floyd Mayweather, made a ton of money off that, and took a long time before he came back to MMA, and he's just not been the same guy since. It's money. It's a lot of partying. Coach suggests Poirier might not be committed to retirement plan. American top team coach Mike Brown sees UFC 318 likely being Dustin Poirier's final fight, but he won't guarantee it. I mean, I think so. You can never say never, but he's done really well for himself. He's made a boatload of money. He's set. He doesn't need to fight. So it would have to be something pretty enticing. I mean, that could always happen, but I think he's content with his accomplishments and content with the money he has made and what he's done. So, I think it is.